Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 85 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng smiled at the woman in green and said, Senior Fengju thinks too highly of me. The Samsara building is very famous in the origin continent. I believe its members' strength should far exceed mine. Among the 8 members now, 1 is an invincible Divine King at the first level and 7 are at the second level of Divine King. The green-clothed woman admitted. There is a huge gap between me and them. Luo Feng said. Then are you willing to join? The green-clothed woman looked at Luo Feng. You should be confident that you will soon become an invincible Divine King of the first level. Luo Feng did not give an answer, but thought for a moment and asked, Senior Fengju, can you tell me the rules of the Samsara building? The woman in green said, I only established the Samsara building. All members are absolutely equal and know each other's identities. If there is any action to be taken, other companions can be invited to participate. Whether other companions participate or not is entirely voluntary. No one can control whether the relationship between members is friendly or bad. But there are 2 most important rules in Samsara House. First, the identities of other members cannot be disclosed. Second, if a member initiates an action, the participants cannot betray, and those who refuse cannot disclose it. Just these 2 points. Once you join, you must abide by them. The green-clothed woman looked at Luo Feng. Once you violate them, you will violate the great cause and effect and become the common enemy of all other members. Luo Feng understood. Don't reveal your identity, don't betray me. It's pretty simple. If it's just these 2 points, I'm willing to join. Luo Feng said. For a long time, the Samsara Tower has had a good reputation in the origin continent, and it is not a force established by alien races like the 2 Realms Palace, the 10,000 Laws Tower, and the Time and Space Lone Boat. Moreover, the reputation of the Queen of Fengju was also very good, and the 2 ancient countries were quite friendly to her. The reputation of the Samsara building and the Queen of Fengju were the reasons why Luo Feng was willing to join. In fact, according to the original guidance of Master Swashanka, after becoming a God King, one will naturally join some forces. Welcome to join us. The woman in green smiled brightly and took out a token. With this token, you can enter the Samsara building with just a trace of thought. I will gather other companions to welcome new companions together. Luo Feng took the token. With this token, you can also contact the other 8 members, said the woman in green. Luo Feng sensed that, in addition to descending into the Samsara building, this token could only contact 8 companions. A towering figure stood between heaven and earth. His body occupied nearly 1/3 of the entire earth. The black wind howled, grinding his skin. His dark blue skin contained a terrifying aura. In this world, besides him, there are only 2 old servants. The towering figure suddenly opened his eyes. His dark yellow eyes were a little surprised. Fengju, have you invited new members? The Samsara building finally has new members? Come on, drink. In a hall, a young man was drinking comfortably, surrounded by many friends. Second brother, you have great talent, but you still need to spend some time on cultivation. A strong man with a scaly tail and sharp horns approached and advised, if you keep enjoying yourself like this, once the disaster comes, I'm afraid it will be difficult to escape. Practice? The drunken young man looked at his friend and said, Brother, what is the purpose of practicing? When you become powerful and reach the Chaos Realm, you will be the real master and can easily dominate the fate of a chaos state, said the sturdy man. I don't care about controlling whose fate I control. It's good enough if I can control my own fate. Ha, what I see, hear, and smell, is all I have. The drunk young man laughed, don't be too careless. It's good enough if I can enjoy good wine. Alas, the strong man didn't persuade him anymore. The drunken young man suddenly realized something. Oh, Fengju has invited new members? I wonder who the new members are? There was a hint of depth in the eyes of the drunken young man. He chose to reincarnate in order to break the entanglement of cause and effect and get some freedom. However, after his reincarnation, he still contacted the Queen of Wind City and joined the Samsara Tower. Samsara Tower was the only place he still trusted, and the members of Samsara Tower had never betrayed him. Let's take a look at the new members. The drunken young man used the token and went to the Samsara building in an instant. Outside the origin continent is the endless universe ocean. A vast cosmic ocean near the edge of the continent is filled with endless poisonous fog. The poisonous fog covers a wide area and is constantly accumulating, becoming more and more over time. In the center of the poisonous fog is a huge creature with countless claws and a single golden eye. The Wheel of Samsara Tower finally has a new member. The new member chosen by Fengdu must be extraordinary. This huge creature also entered the Wheel of Samsara Tower in one thought. Soon, members came in one after another. Thus, with the help of the token, Luo Feng also descended into the Samsara building for the first time with his mind. It was a pavilion condensed in an illusion. Luo Feng stepped into the pavilion and saw 8 figures sitting in it. He, the new member, was the last to arrive. Luo He is here. The Queen of Fengdu sat there, looking at Luo Feng with a smile. The other 7 also looked at Luo Feng curiously, and they were all very friendly. Luo Feng saw these 7 people. None of them hid anything. Luo Feng naturally recognized them at a glance, which made him secretly surprised. What a great Samsara Tower! No wonder it only had 8 members before, yet its reputation is enough to rival the 2 Realms Palace. Luo Feng knew that each of these members in front of him was famous. In our Samsara building, all members treat each other equally and can call each other by their first names. Queen Fengdu said, Luo He, from now on, you will be our 9th member. Luo He. A burly figure raised his glass and smiled, very kindly. He was Emperor Guishu. Luo He, who is number 1 in the Chaos Realm, has heard of your name a long time ago. Since Fengdu has invited you here, you must be more amazing than what the outside world says. A huge fat man said with a smile. His smile carried an invisible magic that naturally made other creatures feel good about him. He was the direct disciple of the Lord of all realms, Lord Diazizai. Luo He, I'm Wu Xin. A young man looked at Luo Feng with a smile. Luo Feng smiled and nodded, Brother Wu Xin. Wu Xin. He was once a guest god king of the Yangfeng ancient country. He did not completely join the Yangfeng ancient country, but was just an ordinary guest. As his strength became stronger and stronger, he became a second-level god king and naturally began to compete for some resources. Because the resources obtained were too precious, they were besieged and attacked by the Yangfeng ancient country many times. After several consecutive besieges, Wu Xin was finally killed in the battle. I can't help it. The Yangfeng ancient country won't stop until I die. So I can only reincarnate so that they can't find out my cause and effect. The young man explained, you are only in the Chaos Realm now, and you don't have the resources to attract them. When you are strong enough, you will know how ugly the emperors of the Yangfeng ancient country are. Luo Feng smiled slightly, thank you, Brother Wu Xin, for the reminder. Among the 8 members present, there are 2 who have a great grudge against the Yangfeng ancient country, namely Emperor Guishu and Wu Xin God King. Both of them were once guest officials, and Emperor Guishu was once a direct disciple of Emperor Xian. Their grievances were real, and Luo Feng also understood Wu Xin's advice, which was sincere. Although there are many opinions in the outside world, Luo Feng also knows that some emperors and gods in the ancient country of Yangfeng are very domineering. But at least now, the ancient country of Yangfeng has no hatred against him. The fate between himself and Di Chuyu, the fate between himself and his master Di Chu, and the fate with Di Ming. Luo Feng cherishes all of these. Favor is favor, hatred is hatred. Master Emperor Chu and Master Emperor Ming have both been kind to him. It is impossible for Luo Feng to turn against the Yangfeng ancient country just because of a few words of instigation from other practitioners. Luo He. A man in a white robe smiled and nodded to Luo Feng. King Qianju. Luo Feng also nodded. King Qianju, the disciple of the founder of Yangfeng. He is at the 2nd level of the Divine King. Although he is a guest divine king in the ancient country of Yangfeng, he still has a high status. Those emperors also give King Qianju a lot of face. The first material of the Trinity form that he obtained came from the pet of King Qianju. Luo Feng briefly greeted several members present. Among the 8 members, the Queen of Fengju is from the Dongji region. The Great Lord comes from the land of 10,000 worlds. The Emperor of Guishu, the God King of Wuxin, the King of Qianju and the ancient country of Yangfeng are all related. God King Yunqian is invincible in the first level of God King. He was originally a guest God King of the ancient country of Thunder. He once lost control of his cultivation of Hun Yuan bloodline and killed a God King of the ancient country of Thunder. Since then, he can only flee. The Lord of Black Fire, a guest God King of the Thunder ancient country, and a second-level God King, turned against the Thunder ancient country in order to seize the resources to become a monarch. To be honest, the Thunder ancient country still valued him very much, but he turned against the Thunder ancient country because he could not get the resources to become a monarch. He also had a good reputation on the origin continent. God King of the Earth. Luo Feng looked at the last burly man sitting there. He smiled and asked Luo Feng to raise his glass. Luo Feng also raised his glass immediately, but he knew in his heart that in the entire Samsara building, in terms of strength, the Queen of Wind City and the God King of the Earth were the strongest. The Earth God King was also an idle God King who rose from the bottom. He had once been a guest of the Thunder ancient country. He was extremely talented and dazzling. With his talent, he even obtained many resources left by Yuan, which caused the Thunder ancient country to plot against him. However, his strength was too strong. Under the siege of many monarchs, he still escaped head-on. Since then, the Earth God King and the Thunder ancient country have turned against each other. The Earth God King, although he is only at the second level of the God King realm, is also an existence that can cross levels and fight against the monarch of the ancient Thunder country with almost the same strength. There are actually 2 people in the Samsara Tower who are on the same level as the Emperor. Luo Feng sighed, no wonder it is so famous. This time, when welcoming new members, everyone got to know each other. Except for the Earth God King who was a little taciturn, the other members chatted with Luo Feng for a while and became very close. Now in the Samsara building, my strength is at the bottom. Even if they have any action, it is not suitable to drag me along. After becoming the God King, his strength will increase comprehensively, so he can participate in some actions. Brother Luo He. The huge fat man, Dazizai God King, said with a smile, in the future, when you participate in some actions of the Samsara building, you must remember to hide your identity. Hiding aura and blurring cause and effect are not difficult for other members of the Samsara building. Luo Feng has not yet become a God King, so he is relatively inferior in blurring cause and effect. I believe that with your achievements in the physical body, hiding disguise is not difficult. Dazizai God King said, but when you are in action, you must avoid your famous moves when fighting with the enemy. Because some moves may only be performed by you in the entire origin continent. Once you use them, it is easy for your true identity to be guessed. Once your identity is guessed, you will not be at peace. Dazizai Divine God King sighed, after all, our Samsara building has taken action again and again, competing with many major forces, and has also seized a lot of resources. In our Samsara building, only Guishu and I have ever exposed our identities. God King Wuxin said on the side, after my identity was exposed, the group of God Kings from the ancient country of Yangfeng knew that I had seized many precious treasures before, so they surrounded and killed me several times, and I had no choice but to reincarnate. I don't care. Emperor Guishu on the side said calmly, I have no worries, so what if I am exposed? His wife, children, and even all his ethnic groups are gone. Emperor Guishu doesn't care about being exposed. I have concerns. Wuxin God King sighed, I reincarnate, so I can better protect them. Luo Feng listened. He was still relatively weak and couldn't get involved in the fight between the most powerful group of beings in the origin continent, but he could also learn some experience. The party to welcome new members finally dispersed. Xiangjia City. In the pavilion, Luo Feng sat alone, and there was a ray of, the atmosphere inside the Samsara building is quite good. Luo Feng was still quite satisfied. Even if I am the weakest, they are all friendly and close. Consciousness has returned. However, even the only God King of the first level in the Samsara building, Yunqian God King, is also very extraordinary. Luo Feng also knew the expected horror of Yunqian God King. There are still many invincible God Kings in the first level of the origin continent. Why was God King Yunqian invited in? I heard that God King Yunqian cultivated to the limit of the first level of God King by himself. There was no further progress, so he turned to cultivate the Han Yuan bloodline. I heard that she was too compatible with that Han Yuan bloodline, and she tapped too much potential in the Han Yuan bloodline, although her strength increased dramatically. But tapping too much potential also caused the huge will hidden deeper in the Han Yuan bloodline to impact her consciousness, which caused her to lose control. When she lost control, she instantly killed a God King of the royal family of the ancient Thunder Country, and all her clones died. The story of God King Yunqian is very famous. If it is just to kill a real body of the royal family God King, and the other party can still cultivate back, then making up for some of the costs can solve this matter. But her Han Yuan bloodline is too deep, and the poison contained is aimed at the soul. There is no way to revive it by the resurrection carrier. Even a divine king of the second stage would be greatly weakened by her poison. According to my intelligence, she is ranked in the top 3 in the entire origin continent in terms of poison usage. Luo Feng could guess. When multiple members were acting, the poison of the Divine King Yunqian could affect multiple Divine Kings of the second stage at the same time, which would naturally be of great help to the action. Not to mention the other 7 members. Treasure Land, Infinite Space. Luo Feng sat cross-legged on a dark blue stone to practice. Although he had just joined a very top force in the origin continent, Luo Feng also understood that whether it was the 2 realms officials or the Samsara building inviting him, who was only at the Chaos realm, was an advance invitation. Because once he became a divine king and truly showed enough strength, there would be many more forces inviting him. Although he was invited in advance, he really couldn't get involved in the collective action now. The 2 realms palace is willing to give me a great opportunity. The Samsara building didn't give me any opportunity. Luo Feng smiled. Sometimes pie in the sky is not a good thing. All the actions of the 2 realms palace are watched by aliens. Just for this reason, Luo Feng was unwilling to join. Just practice with peace of mind. It's too far away from me. From the experience and lessons of the predecessors, the God Kings of the 2 ancient countries are indeed ruthless, but their main target is the God King of the second realm. The God King of the first realm is too weak and they look down on it. The precious resources fought for by the God King of the second realm will arouse their greed and cause them to take large-scale actions. If they reach the ultimate realm of the God King, the 2 ancient countries will treat it with caution and will not act easily. According to the information Luo Feng had learned, the Lord of the 10,000 Realms and the Beast of the Skyward Realm were both at the ultimate Divine King level. As for the ancestor of the Eastern Extreme region, there was no accurate information, but he was at least at the ultimate Divine King level. These 3 first-rate forces have occupied considerable territories and are all living well. In this world, strength is everything. Luo Feng stopped thinking about it and focused on practicing. The effects of taking the Han Yuan Crystal Spirit Fruit and the Qingling Spirit Liquid have lasted for half a century, and Luo Feng still cherishes the period when the effects last. The Great Way of Birth and Death. Luo Feng began to relax himself again and started to comprehend the great truth of life and death. Luo Feng's energy was mostly spent on the Life Origin Avenue and Destruction Origin Avenue, and only a little was spent on the Life and Death Avenue. Because Luo Feng knew very well that the first 2 avenues had complete avenues as references, multiple special inheritances as guidance, and were also the foundation of his own Life and Death Avenue. The more solid the foundation, the road to birth and death, that is a fusion of the 2 can go further. He understood the principle, but the speed of his comprehension of the 2 great ways of life and destruction was obviously much slower than that of the great way of birth and death. No wonder many God Kings only focus on one path. Because what suits them is the best. Luo Feng could clearly feel the difference because he believed in it from the bottom of his heart. Even if you follow the direction that you like most, your efficiency will be significantly higher. The first volume of the 72 Swords of Destruction is based on the Splitting Heaven lineage and the Dark Heaven lineage. Its original intention was to use the Dark Sky vein to refine the Sky-splitting vein. It could even lead the two to gradually merge. Luo Feng shook his head slightly, but this sword technique obviously has serious flaws. It's powerful, but it has no follow-up. If it is a sword light, it contains the source of life, and then integrates into the spirituality of life. Naturally, the power is endless and full of endless toughness. Then, it can be condensed with the Dark Sky vein and used with the Sky-splitting vein. Luo Feng tried. Luo Feng had already accumulated a wealth of experience in comprehending many God King level secret techniques in the past, and he gradually deduced a rough outline of the new sword technique. Wrong. Luo Feng discovered the problem. When the sword light contained the source of life and life spirituality, the foundation was too deep, and the Dark Sky lineage and the Splitting Sky lineage could not really condense and control it. At this moment, the rules of the world in Morosa's body emerged in Luo Feng's mind. It can be integrated into the Hun Qian lineage to form a small world, using the world as a cradle to assist the Dark Sky lineage and the Splitting Sky lineage and completely condense the sword light. There is the accumulation of hundreds of centuries. Moreover, the 6 branches of life and the 6 branches of destruction had already reached the peak of chaos. While taking the Hun Yuan crystal spirit fruit and the heart-clearing liquid, Luo Feng felt that aura was emerging and he was in an excellent state. The new secret method gradually took shape through repeated attempts. This secret method incorporates the 2 major branches of the Great Way of Life, the origin of life, and the spirituality of life, as well as the 3 major branches of the Great Way of Destruction, the Dark Sky lineage, the Splitting Sky lineage, and the Mixed Sky lineage. The 5 major branches gradually merged and the new secret method was gradually improved. There were many setbacks in the process, but Luo Feng solved them one by one. Finally, it's done. Luo Feng spent more than 10 million days on the origin continent obsessed with it, and finally perfected this secret method. Out. As soon as Luo Feng thought of it, a dark and chaotic hole suddenly opened up in his body. Luo Feng had a lot of experience in opening up the world. With the Hun Qian branch as the foundation, opening up was even simpler. A large amount of energy poured into the dark cave, forming wisps of sword lights. These countless sword lights contained the source of life and the spirituality of life, which continued to gather and condense. In just a moment, countless sword lights poured into it, and Luo Feng's body's energy reserves in the infinite space were consumed by 1/3, and the dark and chaotic cave felt a little full. It's done. Luo Feng sensed that an extremely condensed blade light was bred in the dark and chaotic cave at this moment. Luo Feng was a little frightened just by seeing this blade light. Endless light. Even without a master controlling it, the sword light will not be damaged in the endless years. Even if the sword's power is consumed, it can recover naturally. It itself is like the source of life, with endless energy. Just relying on this blade light, he should be at the extremely strong level of the first level of the Divine King. Luo Feng was secretly surprised. The power of the fusion of the Great Tao is so terrifying. Just by relaxing after his hard training, he discovered such a terrifying secret method. You know, according to Luo Feng's deduction, this is just the beginning of this secret method. Next, one needs to fully master these 5 branches of the avenue, and then fully integrate the 5 branches into this secret technique, so that the power of the secret technique can reach its peak. When the 2 branches of the avenue are completely integrated, it is already the 2nd level of the Divine King realm. The upper limit of my secret technique is the complete fusion of the 5 branches of the Great Tao. It is normal for it to be so powerful now. Luo Feng understood, this secret technique uses the Chaos Hole to breed a powerful sword light, so let's call it Chaos Hole Immortal Light. With my spiritual will, I should be able to control more than 10 rays of Chaos Cave Immortal Light at the same time. More than 10 rays of immortal light from the chaotic hole are enough to match the strength of my physical body. Luo Feng was very happy. Physical strength is Luo Feng's strongest weapon in the outside world. With the help of the unique, invisible and formless ability of the perfect divine body, he took the path of transformation to have such extraordinary strength. But invisible and formless was given to Luo Feng by the supreme rules, so he always felt that it was a trick. But this time, there was no shortcut. The secret method that was initially fused from the 5 branches of the Great Way is comparable to the method of transformation. It seems that even without the help of the invisible and formless, I am still quite strong. Luo Feng was very happy. This video will end here.